Hi guys, this is Brenda with Keenan Kreations, and I have a masculine card for you today using the Celebrate Today stamp set along with the Typeset Specialty Designer Series paper. To get started, we're going to use a strip of the Typeset Designer Series paper, and this is cut 5.5 by 2 inches, and we're going to sponge the edges with soft suede ink. You're going to use a stamping sponge, and you're going to grab it here on the end so this is nice and rounded, and go up and down the ink pad to load it up with the ink. I like to first hit all the edges. Now this paper is a little thinner than most of our Designer Series paper, but you get 24 sheets rather than 12. So after I get the ink around the edges, I like to set it down on the grid paper, and I'm going to start off the paper. So just go in a circular motion and then repeat that on each of the corners. And you just keep sponging until you like the look, but I do like to have more ink on the corners. And once you're happy with the sponging, we're going to layer this to basic black cardstock. This is cut 5.5 inches by 2 1/8. You're going to add adhesive around all the edges and set it down. I'm holding up the right side, and I'm kind of lining up the left side first from top to bottom. And I kind of set it down a little bit on the right just to gauge that it's about the same. And then I can let that go. The base card is very vanilla cardstock, and it's 8.5 by 5.5 and scored down the middle at 4 1/4. I'm still going to be careful and line up the edges just to make sure everything is nice and straight. And I'm going to sponge the edges of the very vanilla cardstock with the soft suede ink. And you're going to lightly hit the corners. So start off the paper and just kind of work your way up, and just go in a soft circular motion. You can see most of the ink is off the paper, and you just kind of work your way up. And just keep sponging until you get the look that you like. Just soften those edges a little bit. Add your adhesive around all the edges. And I'm going to go all the way to the left side. Now I've already cut 4 of these balloon shapes from the paper, but I want to stamp the balloon basket. So I'm just going to set this down so I kind of have an idea of where to stamp the basket. And I'm going to use Memento Tuxedo Black ink. So this stamp here has these 4 little legs or strings to the basket, and you want to be careful that you don't press firmly at that part, or it'll kind of move a little bit and you might get a blurred image. And when you set this stamp down, try to focus on pressing right there on the basket, not really on these little legs here. So just press on the basket and lift up, and you'll see that you have a nice clean image. Now if we were to press firmly like we're used to doing for most of our stamps, it might blur the ends of those lines and give you an uneven look. So we're just going to tap tap. We're going to set this little balloon slightly higher than we want it, so we have room to stamp this. I'm going to scoot over just a smidgen. And remember, when you press, you're pressing mostly on the basket, and then lift that up. So we're going to fold all of these in half, and you're going to fold the stripe to the stripe, and you want to be careful to get this little part even. So fold that first, and then you can kind of bring up the rest of the balloon so it matches, and you want to fold all of them in half exactly like that. Now I actually forgot we need to sponge all of these edges, so just go back to your soft suede ink and just hit all of these edges. So next you're going to add adhesive. You're going to keep this folded in half, and you're going to add adhesive, and we're going to stack them. And you want to get the adhesive pretty close to the edges. You could probably use Tombow multi-purpose liquid adhesive also. So we've got adhesive on this part. So we're just going to line up that little part on the bottom and then line up the edges here. And just repeat and stack them one on top of the other. So once you have them all glued together, when you open them up, they kind of fan out like that. So the next thing we're going to do is you can open it flat like this, and we're just going to add adhesive to the back. And we're going to line this up to the basket. So you can see you have this nice little dimension to your balloon, but because this paper is thinner, it folds easily for mailing in your envelope. So now we're going to add the greeting. We're going to use scrap Very Vanilla cardstock, and we're going to go back to the Memento black ink. We're going to use the Celebrate image here, so tap tap on your ink pad. Now we do not have a framelit to cut this out, so we're going to use scissors. And it's a pretty easy trim. We're going to follow the shape of the words, and we're going to go about, probably about 1/16 of an inch, just a smidgen away from the letters. And we're going to start off the paper, and we're going to sponge the edges, so any little imperfections are going to be hidden. So don't get too worried. Just follow that shape, and again go off the paper. And remember, just keep that shape going off the paper. I'm going to cut a straight line right next to the C. And I'm going to cut a straight line about that far away from the end of the greeting. And then I'm going to cut right up to the center and then angle that from each end. We're going back to soft suede ink, and we're going to sponge all the edges. We're going to use dimensionals to add it to the front of the card. Now I'm going to go back to the original sample and show you the inside. I stamped the little basket where it's kind of going off the corner. I did sponge all of the edges. I layered an extra piece of Very Vanilla cardstock. This is 4 inches by 5 1/4, because this is a little bit thinner than our colored cardstock, and this will sturdy it up a little bit. I stamped the greeting, and then for the envelope, I stamped the balloon in soft suede ink, and it has this little detail image of stars that I stamped in the Tuxedo Black Memento ink, along with this little basket here. I hope you enjoyed today's project. For more ideas, you can visit me at KeenanCreations.com. Thanks, and have a great day.